swamp. Tony Blinken, you don't get more Democrat establishment than that. And he even used to be a global affairs analyst for CNN to boot. Plus, Steve Ricchetti, an unabashed lobbyist, part of the revolving door. We could go on and on. Trump campaign senior advisor Corey Lewandowski joins me now with his take on the announcement so far and more. Corey, quite the lineup Biden's putting together, wouldn't you say?
You know, Judge, I would say that I'm surprised by this, but I'm not at all. And look at the press conference we saw today from Joe Biden, this week from Joe Biden, where he said it's shameful, basically, that President Trump had this notion of America first. We're not going to have that notion anymore. We're not going to be, this notion that we're going to take care of everybody else. And if you look at the people that are coming into a potential Biden administration, not one of them is going to put America first.
Well, and the amazing thing is that when Joe Biden answered one of the questions, he came out and he said, America's back. And I thought to myself, Jim Mattis, okay, a four-star general, says, we don't want America first anymore, all right? And then Biden comes out and says, America's back. Which America's back? The America of Barack Obama that kowtowed to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt within 20 days of his taking the Oval Office? Which America's back? The one where they send $150 billion to Iran, I'm sorry, so that they don't develop a nuclear weapon? The America that pays everybody's NATO bills? I'm sorry, Corey, but I'm sure you feel the same way. It is frustrating for the average American. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me.
Judge, you're not wrong. And look, the America that we have fought for the last 4 years are the ones where you stand for the flag and you kneel for God. And those aren't Republican or Democrat values. Those are American values, Judge. But now you see what Joe Biden wants to bring back. He wants to get us back into the Paris Climate Accords. He wants to make sure that our allies around the world don't pay their fair share at NATO anymore. We'll be the police force of the world, that the number one issue facing this world is lives shot John Kerry's desire to end global climate change. I mean, look, the truth is our country is better off because of Donald Trump's administration, and he's bringing our men and women home from the endless wars that Joe Biden said he would do over a dozen years ago. The truth is Joe Biden wants to make sure that our men and women are in harm's way every single day. So, look, it's America first is the philosophy of Donald Trump, which means taking care of the people who served on the front line, making sure the men and women who serve in downtrodden communities have safe environments to be in, safe places to worship. Joe Biden doesn't care about those things, Judge. He's taken advantage of minority communities his entire career. He'll continue to do so if he serves 4 years as the President of the United States.
And, who was it, Bob Gates, who said that there isn't a foreign policy issue that Joe Biden's ever been right on? But I have to disagree with him because Joe Biden's been on every side of an issue. Okay, so, I mean, he just doesn't know what he stands for. And the amazing part, if people look at history with Joe Biden and this foreign policy with this Anthony Blinken and all that, I mean, what happened with the red line in Syria where Assad used chemical weapons against his own people, with videos of children dying, gasping for breath, for beautiful children? There was no red line. And it just goes on and on with respect to Joe Biden and Barack Obama. And essentially, don't you think that this is Obama's third term? Don't you think Obama is behind all of this?
Of course, Barack Obama. This is an extension of the Obama's first two terms in office. And remember, when Bashir al-Assad used chemical weapons and Donald Trump was the president, 59 Tomahawk missiles went in to make sure that innocent men, women, and children would no longer be under that regime and be attacked for their beliefs. So that's a far cry of what Joe Biden and the Barack Obama administration have done. This is simply an extension of the Obama administration. This is a return to the swamp thing. It reminds me of that 1989 movie, Judge, Return to the Swamp Thing. That's exactly what this is. There's no new ideas. This is the United States leading from behind again. This is no longer holding our enemies accountable or making sure our allies respect us anymore. Look, America first is a philosophy that 75 million people across this country have supported because they want to make sure we're taking care of us first. That doesn't mean it's America alone. own, Judge, but we've got problems here in our own country. And this president, Donald Trump, was the first one in a generation to say we're going to take care of our people first and not the rest of the world first. That's something that we should be proud of, and that's something that Joe Biden doesn't support.
Well, Joe Biden clearly supports the globalist effort and our being just another cog in the wheel of globalism, out of Brussels or everywhere else in the world. And I think the sad part about it is, even Benghazi, everything that he did, Biden and Obama was, as far as I'm concerned, a disaster. And I think even Joe Biden was even against going after Osama bin Laden, saying, we could suffer real harm if we went after him. The guy, he is what he is. But let's talk about schools. And final question to you: if Joe Biden is determined to actually be the president, with respect to what is going on with our children in schools, he has sold out to the unions, especially the schools. What is the hope for parents with their own children and getting a decent education?
Look, Judge, I'll tell you, this is maybe the biggest tragedy of our lifetime right now. We've got children who aren't getting hot meals at schools because they're not in the schools. We've got children who are probably being neglected or abused at home, that we don't have that first line of defense at the schools for the teachers to oversee what's happening there. And more than that, the education system is clearly crumbling. The Democrats, and particularly in the state of New York, have caved to the teachers' unions. They're saying that the parents have the opportunity and obligation now to educate these kids, as opposed to being able to go to work and provide for their families. Judge, I've got 4 young kids, all in the public schools in the state of New Hampshire, and it's a hard thing to do when you're on Zoom calls with all of these kids. They're all trying to learn, and their education is suffering. And they're suffering because the teachers' unions refuse to get into the classrooms, refuse to allow these kids in. And even Anthony Fauci has said the safest place for the children right now are in the school systems. So let's open the schools and let's close the borders and let's get our kids the education they deserve, Judge.
Yep, I doubt that's going to happen under Joe Biden. But Corey Lewandowski, thanks so much for being with us. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
And remember, if you hate the liberal lies as much as I do, you need to order my copy or your copy of my book, Don't Lie to Me, and stop trying to steal our freedom. Do it tonight. Still ahead, Dave Bossy, Dr. Mark Siegel, and Steve Ducey. But first, thanks to Biden, another familiar face we haven't missed is headed back to the White House, and he's ready to fight climate change. Really? Pete Hegseth joins me next, and he's ready to sound off.